Welcome to Edenise Technologies MS Word tutorial video for beginners. And if at the end of this tutorial video you find our work okay for you, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the subscription button and at the same time clicking on your notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new content. Welcome to Edenise Technologies. In this video, we are going to be looking at the following lessons. Number one, we'll be looking at the meaning of MS Word. Of course, we know that MS Word is a word processing application used to create different readable and printable templates such as calendars, certificates, resumes, and different project tasks. And in lesson 2, we'll be looking at how to add and format text. Of course, whenever you come across any document, you will notice certain changes done in that particular document. Some pictures added to it, some images added to it, some features such as italicizing it, making it bold, changing the font, character and font size, and all the rest. Some of these things we'll be demonstrating in this video. And then in lesson 3, we are going to be creating and managing lists, especially the tag list, using the bullets and the like. And of course, in the last segment of this lesson, lesson 4, we'll be demonstrating how to use the proofing tools. The proofing tools help us to ensure that there are no grammatical error embedded in our document. Some of these things we'll be looking at the course of this video. And before we start, let us enter into the app proper to start exploring some of these features we have explained at the course of this introductory part of our video. Here, above here is called the ribbons. We have the ribbons here. And under the ribbons, we have the font group. We have the paragraph group. We have the style group over here. And beneath here, we have the printing layout, the full screen reading, the web layout, the outline, the draft, and of course the zoom. Each of these various features we find in MS Word, we are going to make use of all of them to see how it can be of help and how it can benefit anybody who is making use of MS Word for the first time. Here we have in the ribbons, above the ribbons also we have the quick access toolbar. And under the home page we found in here the command group, or more or less what I may choose to call the dialog box. Because there are various features of MS Word that we are not fully displayed on the page. MS Word has chosen to hide some of these features or command groups inside this dialog box. And once you click on that dialog box, you immediately see a drop down of options of what you want to use, or some of the command features that are not visible at the page or at the ribbon for you to make use of them. You can find them in the command box or the dialog box. The same thing is applicable in the page group. Page group also has its own dialog box. Once you click on the dialog box, you will see a drop down of options of features or command that you may wish to select in order to beautify or to make appropriate use of command in text or document you are working on in MS Word. However, above the ribbons here also we have the Home tab, we have the Insert tab. In the Insert tab, that is where you will see features like cover page, page break, tables, pictures, clip art, shapes, smart art, screenshot, headers, footers, text box, word art, page numbering, and what have you. In the page layout also, there in the ribbon, you will find features such as margin, page orientation, the size of the screen, column, watermark, page color, page border, indentation line and line spacing, and various other features that are explainable in MS Word. If you go to the Reference tab, you also see features such as footnote, endnote, and some other various options that are visible in MS Word. You go to Review tab, you see features such as check grammar, the language, and others. And then in the View tab, you can see most of the options we already explained at the foot of the page here. You can see the printing layout, you can see the full screen reading, the web layout, the outline, the draft, and many other features that are to be used in MS Word. However, for the sake of this course, we will be delving into immediately after having looked at the first outline of this course, which is the meaning of MS Word and some of the features you can find in MS Word, the ribbon tools, the quick access toolbar, and the paragraph groups, the font groups, and of course the style group. Of course, when you look at the page here, there are a lot of spaces in between. And then you can use either the zoom bar, the plus sign button here down under the page, to zoom in order to magnify your page for your audience to see it, or even for what you are typing to be more visible. And you can use the minus sign here to compress the page to the portable size that you wish to use for your document. Now we are going straight into the second segment of our lesson, that is lesson 2, which is adding and formatting text in MS Word. And to add and format text, we want to use as our first lesson, lesson 2. So in lesson 2, we are going to be using the heading 1 tag to notify it, lesson 2, and then we'll be using adding and formatting text. Now there are various ways of adding text in MS Word. Is either you type the text yourself, or you use the shortcut which we are going to make visible in this video. You simply click the equal sign, RAND, bracket open, say 2 paragraph, 3 sentences, bracket close, enter. You see, you notice immediately that we have automatically created a paragraph that we are going to use to work in MS Word. And as we proceed, we are going to format this text or demonstrate how this text can be formatted in order to suit what you want, and in order to even explain to people more what you wish to display. Let's go ahead and format this text. And under the home ribbon, we find options such as the bold, the italicize, the underline, the font text. In the font text is where you choose to increase the font of the text to make it more bolder, and the font size, you may also choose to increase the font size either to be more magnified or to make it a bit smaller, as you may wish. You can as well add colors. You can as well make the text either to be in uppercase, that is capital letter, or lowercase, as the case may be. You can as well align the text to right, align it either to left, justify it, or center it. So some of these features we are going to be exploring as we go on. So let's start by formatting this text, adding and formatting text. You notice immediately that I have highlighted this text, and I may choose to change the font text either to Times New Roman or Giriam font, Arial Black, Arial Rounded, MT, Bold, Arial Uncode, and numerous other formatting text options that are visible. And for the sake of this video, I am choosing Arial Black. I may as well wish to increase the font text since it is the first lesson and then the header of this text. I may choose to make the font bigger than what we have here. I may choose to make it 16. As you're seeing, the more I place my cursor on the number, on the higher numbers, the more the text is magnified. So let's make use of 16. Now the text is on font 16. I may as well wish to add color to this text. And how can I add color to this text? The same way you first of all highlight the text, then you go to the font color. So I am choosing green. Now I have chosen green as my font color. I may choose also to, out of my own volition, to underline this text. You notice immediately that the text has been underlined. It might interest you to know that whatever command you give to your text, that is the feature is going to present either to you or to the people who you are making the text visible to. Now, if you look at the document we have, at the paragraph and sentences we have created, we can as well choose to format this very paragraph. And there are two different ways of highlighting a text. The first one is either to use the shortcut key, which is Ctrl+A. And what this does is that it's going to highlight every document, every word in the page. If you have up to 1,000 pages, Ctrl+A is going to highlight every bit of the word in the document. Then if you click out and you want to highlight a particular word, there is a way you do it also. Say for example, I want to highlight lesson 2. I will double click on it and then it will be highlighted. There is another way to highlight word in MS Word. That is the final way. You may choose to click and drag and select. That is selecting the particular word, phrase, or alphabet that you wish to select. And note immediately that any word or any alphabet or any sentence that has been highlighted is liable to be formatted. What does that mean? You cannot properly format a text in MS Word without highlighting or selecting it. So that is what it means. Now I want us to highlight the first paragraph of this document and underline them. Having underlined them, I want us to change the casing to uppercase. That is capitalizing it. You notice immediately that the entire paragraph has been capitalized. I may choose as well to change all of them into lowercase, that is small letters. And then again, either to the sentence case or take them back to uppercase. I may as well wish to align this text to the right or to the left, or to justify it, or to add any other features that I may wish to add. I may as well wish to italicize this particular paragraph. You notice immediately that the paragraph has been italicized. Then I may use Ctrl+Z to undo all the features I have done in this particular paragraph. As we move forward, we will keep demonstrating some of the options that are important for our audience, especially for beginners to know. Now, having explored some of these options in the home tab, we may wish to as well look at another features in the command group, which is the line spacing. Now, if you notice in this paragraph, in these two paragraphs, there is a space in between this line. So if I select the whole of this document and choose to close up this space, I'll simply go up to my line and paragraph spacing. So you have the 1.0, you have 1.15, you have 1.5, you have 2.0, you have 2.5, you have 3.0. Notice that as I place my cursor in each of these numbers, the page is being expanded and expanded, keep expanding, and if I choose to reduce it, it will keep reducing. So for the sake of this document and this video, we are leaving it in 1.5. Now, say I want to close up this space here. MS Word has given us a very impressive format of closing it up. I'll as well highlight this document. Okay. Having highlighted this document, I'll go back to my line paragraph spacing. You look underneath here, remove space after paragraph. If I click on it and click out, you notice that the space after the paragraph has been removed. Now, if I want to add it back, I will select back this document, go back to the line and paragraph spacing, and then I'll add space after paragraph. Notice immediately that the space after paragraph has been added back. So these are some of the ways in which you can add spacing and remove spacing in your text. Another important feature we're going to be looking at in the Home tab is the shading and then the bottom border. So let's say that I want to add shading to the first caption here, lesson 2. I'll simply highlight it, as you can see. Okay, I will go to the shading command group or command button. Then I'll add a color of my choice. I am selecting red, for example. Now if I want to add border to the already selected text, I will as well select this text, go to the bottom border. Then notice immediately in this drop down you have various options of border. You have bottom border, have top border, have left border, you have right border, you have all bordered. So I want to put border in all this. So you notice immediately that I have added border in the already selected text. And now if I want to remove this border, I'll simply as well click on the options of the border in the command group and select the option no border. You notice immediately that the border command has been properly removed. So that is that about how to add and format text in MS Word. Now in our next segment of lesson, we are going to be looking at our lesson 2. Our lesson 2, we are going to be looking at how to create and in our lesson 3 rather, our lesson 3 is how to create and manage list. How to create and manage list. Simply what we are going to be doing here is how to add bullet, how to create list, how to add numbers in our document, how to sort them, and apparently how to use the increase and decrease indentation to identify our list. Now, there are two major ways of adding bullets in your document. Number one is by adding the bullet before the text, and the second way is by adding the text before the bullet. Adding the text before the bullet. And now we are going to be exploring these options and see how it works. Let's get started. Now we have these two ways of adding bullets. If I want to add bullets to this test, adding bullets to before the test, I'll simply click at the end of the beginning of this sentence, and this is the bullet option here. Then I select option 1. I may choose also to select any of these ones here, maybe the check, and then the second option, I go over there and make same selection. Now, having added a bullet, you notice that the bullet sometimes is automatic, such that once I click the enter button on the enter key, the bullet automatically follows. Anytime I click the enter key, the bullet follows, and if I want to remove it, I'll click on the enter key twice and the command is cancelled. Now, let's go on and add our list. Let's go on and add our list. Let's say our first shopping list. Our first shopping list is bread. Have that should be for breakfast. We have bread. We have egg. And then we have orange juice. So this is our first shopping list. If you notice immediately that in this list here, the heading list is the shopping list, which I may wish to make a bit bold and then increase the font size to 16, and apparently change the case to uppercase. Now you have the numbers are arranged in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I may wish to use bullets to indicate these numbers, since shopping list is our heading. So let's use bullets to identify the options of our breakfast here. So what we'll do is simply to highlight the options, then we'll go to the bullet options and select the alphabet. You notice that you can as well change from numbering to alphabet numbering. Now, since this is our first list, we have to make it a bit different from the second list we are going to add. And how can we achieve this? All right, we'll go back again to select our list, and then we use the increase indenting command. Use the indenting command to separate our list from other things that are coming under it. Now this is our shopping list, and the first option there is the breakfast, and under the breakfast we have bread, egg, and orange juice. Now we are creating our second list. To undo the command I have already given here, I may wish to use Ctrl Z or Ctrl Y to undo the command. Now in our second list, we may have dinner, and other dinner may have rice, vegetable, and then of course beef. So we're going to make our dinner, we're going to format our dinner to look more like that of the shopping list in the breakfast. So we're going to highlight dinner, change the font size to 14, then bold it to make it different from other writings in the document. And as well, we are going to change the numbering options here from Roman numerals to alphabet. So we simply highlight the dinner options, and then we'll go to the bullets and we'll choose the alphabet numbering. So we have succeeded in creating 2 shopping lists, and we may end up making it 3 and then making the list different from others. In our third list, we may say, let's have something like lunch. Okay. Lunch. And here in the lunch, we have soup, or we have orange juice as well, and then apparently a little vegetable. So we want to make our next list to look also like that of the first 2 options. So we'll highlight the option, change the font size to 14, then bold it. And now the list options for lunch, we will as well change the numbering to bullet to alphabet numbering, which is ABC. Now we have created 3 shopping lists. And now to make this list look well ordered, we are going to highlight the first option here, which is for breakfast, increase the indenting. As well, we will highlight the second option here, also increase the indenting. Notice immediately that we want to arrange the order of our list to look a bit different from each other. Increase the indenting, then the options, the food options will as well increase the indenting. And then coming to the last option, we also highlight the lunch and increase the indenting, and then the options as well increase the indenting. Here is our list. Here is our list, and we want to sort this list by making them come alphabetically. If you notice immediately that we have, say for example, in the dinner we have rice, vegetable, and beef. So if I want to arrange this alphabetically, I will simply highlight this option. Then there is a sort option here, sort by paragraph, ascending and descending order. And since it's not the header rule, we are choosing no header rule. So is inside the paragraph, we are simply clicking OK because I want to sort that list in ascending order. I will simply OK it. Notice immediately that the food options for dinner has been sorted alphabetically. Beef, which was the last option below, is now the first, and then rice still maintain is second option, and vegetable, which was the second option, is now the last option. So these are various ways in which you can sort your document, either alphabetically or arranging it alphabetically, or in ascending order, or in descending order. I may choose as well to sort the whole of my list by doing same here. So the options here look a bit scattered, but you notice that in the shopping list we have breakfast, dinner, and lunch. So it is arranged alphabetically, even though there are some changes MS Word has made in the options for each of the lunch, dinner, and breakfast food menu. So to get this well arranged again, I may use the alternative key of Ctrl+Z to get this work arranged as it were before. So this is our list, and we believe that anyone who looked at this may have learned one or two things. Now we are going into the last segment of our tutorial for today, and that is lesson 4. And in lesson 4, we are going to be looking at the options of how to use the proofreading tools, how to use the proofing tools. More or less, the proofing tools are what we call the check and grammar, to ensure that there is no grammatical error, there is no fault, that the work or document is well arranged, if there is any grammatical error or any fault in the document, the proofing tool will help us to identify these errors and then make the possible corrections. And then at the end of our instruction on the proofing tools, we are going to demonstrate how to save the document. Now let's go first to using the proofing tools. To use the proofing tools, we make use of the shortcut F7. You notice immediately there is a drop down option that identifies where we are having fault in the document above. So what are we going to do? So we are going to click on the next sentence. Then it is going to automatically complete the error we find on this document. Let's say there are no errors at all. The proofing tools may apparently not work, but when we have maybe a kind of misspelling of some words that the computer did not understand, of course the proofing tools is going to work. Let's give an example of this. Saving the document. I am a MS Word teacher losing focus. Of course, this word more or less makes no meaning. And then if I choose to write a wrong grammar here, the computer is going to identify that error So when we want to use the proofing tools here, remember F7, you have a lineup of errors the computer has been able to identify here. So we're going to use the autocorrect to correct this grammar. If I click on the autocorrect, it's going to correct that particular one. And then the next one here is losing. Presumably the computer already know that I want to write losing. That is the word LOOSING. I'll use the autocorrect as well. And then the computer also presume that I want to write done. The computer, using the autocorrect, the computer corrects it. And then the computer as well knows that I want to write day, THE. Using the autocorrect, I will be able to correct it. And then the computer presume that I want to write lesson or liaison. So if I choose the autocorrect, or the next sentence is going to correct. And what do you see here? The spelling and grammar check is complete. Now this is how to use the spelling and the spelling and grammar check. Another place where you can find this option instead of using the short key is you go over to the review tab here, and over here you find spelling and grammar. And because the spelling and grammar has been completed, the drop down is no longer going to come up. What you see, spelling and grammar check is complete. Then our next instruction is how to save a document. There are two major ways of saving a document, or rather three. The first is using the short key F12. if you click the short key F12, you are going to have an option of typing in the document name or the name you want to identify your document with. So let's say I want to identify this document with lesson 2, and then I want this document to save either in my own document or in the desktop or in the PC or in the OneDrive account. I have the leverage of choosing the options where I want my document to be saved in. Meanwhile, I want this document to be saved at the desktop. I will choose the desktop, and then if I click save, the document is going to save in my desktop. Then I want to explore another option of how to save a document. Another option of saving a document is by going up here to the file. You will see save and then save as. So because I have not saved this document for the first time, even if I want to use the first option, save, the computer is going to automatically link me to the second option, which is save as, in order to give a name to this document. So I'm going to use the second option, save as, and then I will save this as MS Word tutorial. MS Word tutorial lesson. Then I want to save this document in the desktop. Then I click the save option. Notice immediately at the top of this page, you already have the page name MS Word tutorial lesson. And say I want to add additional information to this test. Thank you for your attention. Then I am not going to use the option save as. In order to add this information to the already existing document, I will choose the second option, either using the Ctrl S, or I will also go to the file and use the first option there, save, and the information is going to be added to the already existing information I have in my page. So that is that about the lesson, our lesson for today. And at the course of this lesson, we have been able to explain the meaning of MS Word in our first lesson, and in the second lesson we have been able to explain and demonstrate how to add and format a text. In our third lesson, we have been able to demonstrate how to create and manage our list, and then in the last lesson we were able to demonstrate how to use the proofing tools, and of course how to save our document. In the next segment of our video, we look forward to seeing you in the next segment of our video, which will be discussing how to use the text box and various options in the format and in the insert toolbar.